You're listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. Ladies and gentlemen, my indie comic book warriors and pop culture crusaders, baby. What's up? Strap in and get ready because this is the new Comic Crusaders Podcast. I'm your boy, Al Mega. We're about to dive deep, baby, into the gritty, gripping, no holds barred graphic novel, The Underclass. That's right, baby. It's a dystopian ride of survival, rebellion, and pure visual punch. Straight from the mind and the hands of the creator himself, we're going to be talking art, story, Kickstarter glory, and the journey that got him here. So don't blink. We're about to get real with the big boss himself, the one, the only Mr. Kane Gallagher, baby. How you doing?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here. Yeah, feeling good.
Thank you for coming on, brother. We're about to talk about the greatness of this dope book that's in pre-launch level, folks. It is currently in pre-launch. We're going to be sharing that link in a minute. Don't you worry. We're going to be giving you a rundown of what you guys should be ready for. Because, again, with the tax season, in full play, money coming into your hands, it is time to support independent comics, baby. All right, let's do that. So, you can. Let's do a quick rewind, all right? What's the comic book that made Baby Kane say, this is what I want to do?
I remember the first comic I ever picked up and read was Wolverine number 100. And it was purely because of the cover. And up until then, I'd only seen like X-Men cartoons on television, like when I was a kid, in the mornings. And I thought they were cool, but I'd never read an X-Men comic or anything like that. And I saw the cover and I was like, whoa, what is that? And that completely changed my view of like comic books because the artwork was just so detailed and there was all these wires like wrapped around Wolverine on the cover. And I just thought, if you can put that much detail into a piece of art and then on every page on the interior as well, then I was like, okay, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Like I was hooked from then, And, after that, it just kept going and going.
And when did you grow up and get access to your early days of comic books?
Well, after that, it became more like I got more into a more adult style kind of comics and stuff. Like I got into like Sin City. That was a big one for me. Also, then I started finding out about Jeff Darrow. Huge inspiration to my work. Anything by those two guys, I'll just read cover to cover over and over. But other than that, just storytelling in general, like adult contemporary kind of storytelling, cyberpunk, anything cyberpunk, I think is awesome.
How did you get access to it, though, as but a wee laddie? Was it through your parents? Was it self-discovery? How did you find, comic books?
Right. Well, I remember I was at I guess you guys call them flea markets.
Okay.
Yeah, there was one in Australia, and we were just walking around, and there was all these different stalls. I was with my parents. Geez, I must have been like 10 years old or something. I was a kid, I was really young. And they just had a stall, and it had like a few comics in there, and there wasn't many, but the ones that were there, I was like, oh, that's awesome. I remember they had a 2000 AD, and I think my brother bought that one. And I saw the Wolverine, and I just went straight for that one, and that's where I picked it up. And I've still got it today.
Nice. Oh man, a man with blades and wires. All right, I am sold. I'm loving it. So all right, let's talk about this, brother, because you're rocking the dual threat, if you will. You're a writer and artist. So what's it like juggling both roles, specifically with this upcoming project that's about to get launched, The Underclass?
That's just always the way I've done it. So I don't know anything different. Since starting this project, which was years ago now, I learned that people write a script first and then they create the art. that's not the way I did it. You know, I'm very much a visual storyteller, so I can imagine every scene in my mind before I write about it. So I know what's going to happen with the characters before I start writing the dialogue. So I go straight to a storyboard and then planning out the panels, and then I'm writing what they're saying as I'm doing that.
Okay.
So that's kind of my process. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you get into that zone? Because again, you know, you're saying that for you, it's art before story. You know, again, you know, not typical, if you will. So how do you get to that creative zone to deal with that massive like madness, if you will?
Just immersing myself, I think, in pop culture, comic books especially, but yeah, lots of movies as well, I think help. Just learning to like frame a scene is important. But yeah, I get inspiration just from, you know, comics and things that I see, you know, Instagram. There's so much inspiration on Instagram. You know, there's so many awesome creators just like me. And you just see what they're doing. You're like, oh man, I think maybe I might be able to do better than that, but I've got to try to find out. You know, like, it's a lot of fun, you know, because it's competitive like that, but in a fun, you know, spirited way. You know, you can talk to these other creators and be like, hey man, that's really awesome. How'd you figure out that idea? Do you mind if I try drawing that? And they'll be like, yeah, give it a go. You know, it's fun.
I dig it. I dig it. So let's get real, because we're talking about inspiration. So what's the core inspiration behind the Underclass, and whether this brutal beauty get born, if you will?
At its core, I think, you know, like I said before, growing up reading Sin City really stuck with me. That was always a big one for me. And I think I've always been drawn to like crime stories, crime movies as well. So anything in the crime genre, I always found very interesting. Other than that, the art obviously is heavily inspired by hyper detailed artists, mainly Jeff Darrow. So, you know, like when I first read Hard Boiled, that was a big one for me. That was a huge inspiration because it was like, it was, you know, it was, what's his name? The creator of Sin City. I forget his name. Frank Miller. Yeah. So it was Frank Miller working with Jeff Darrow, two of my favorites. And I was like, how did I never know about this? And then it was just, you know, it was kind of all the cool grittiness of Frank Miller mixed with all the really detailed work of Jeff Darrow. And then I was like, I've got to create something like this, but in my own kind of spin, in my own world. So yeah, that's kind of where it started. And then after that, I just kind of had the idea of, okay, what if Sin City was set in a high school? And I was like, okay, that's an interesting idea. And then I was like, well, why would a high school have that much violence in it? Because Sin City is a very violent book. And then I just thought, okay, well, what if the high school breeds violence? And then came the idea, okay, well, it teaches the kids to be violent. It's a school that teaches kids to be criminals. And that's, I just went from there, and I just couldn't stop after that.
The villainy in you just poured out instantly, as if it was from a past life. I know the master. I get. We won't tell nobody, bro.
Yeah,
I dig it. Now, let's have some fun here. If Underclass was a mixtape of music, like what 3 tracks would be on it and why?
Oh, that's interesting. That's a good question. Ooh. They'd probably all be 9 Inch Nails songs, to be honest. I'm a big fan of 9 Inch Nails. Anything with that Trent Reznor does, it's fantastic. But then again, Deftones Back in School, that one, I was listening to that when I was making this.
Okay, there you go.
If it was to be a movie, I'd want that to be in the soundtrack for sure. But other than that, probably, something by Trent Reznor. Maybe Every Day is Exactly the Same, or Discipline probably would be a good one. Yeah.
Oof. Trent, when the movie coming out, he coming for you, for some soundtrack work. Let's get it done. It's gonna happen, all right? So, folks, don't you worry. I know we talking. I'm gonna tease you with the art and exactly where you can get notified for the launch, right? But right now, I've been showing off his social media and his website. Some teasers there. I'm gonna show you the link in a minute, folks. Don't you wait. Let's just keep diving a little bit more over here. Now, you said the story is about survival and dystopian class war. Now, what kind of message are you sneaking in between those killer panels of yours that we're about to display?
Well, it's, at its core, it's really, they're all revenge stories. So, but it's really about, this one's just set in a school. So I'm already working on the next one, but this one's just set in the school. Eventually it's going to expand into the outer city, but it's really talking about society and, the downtrodden and the people that are swept under the rug, and they have no other choice in life than to, become criminals in order to survive. So yeah, at all my storytelling core, I try to tell a story about, human psychology, I think, and, the extremes that people will go to survive. And I think everybody can really kind of relate to that in one way or another,
Gotcha. Now, what kind of research or world building, rather, rabbit hole did you even dive into for this particular story?
Well, like I said before, I think Sin City was a big one, big inspiration, because you really get to see, okay, different characters throughout the city doing different things, and with this, I've just kind of condensed it into a high school of different characters. But I think anything by Tarantino, I watch a lot of Tarantino films, so that was a big one, and he's very good at building worlds and building characters in those worlds. So I think Pulp Fiction was a big one as well, because in that way you can build a world without fully showing the whole world, but you see snippets of it through different characters' eyes, and then eventually at the end you kind of get the whole picture, so that's kind of what I was trying to achieve here.
Oh, wonderful, folks. I know we've been teasing. I'm about to add this baby to the stage right here. We're about to start diving deep. This book is the Underclass, the graphic novel by Kane Gallagher, right there. Sin City meets Deadly Class, and this hardcore gritty series of crime stories from the underworld of North Alva City High School, baby. All right. Listen, he's created 4 projects right now. We're about to dive deep and learn more about this. So tell us, kiddo, about your lead character. What makes him the underdog we're dying to root for?
Okay, well, there's a few different characters, but the main one is the freshman in the first story, and his story's split up into 2 parts, so it bookends the book. But yeah, he's the character that that the audience can relate to, because he's coming into it not knowing anything. He's just coming into the school as a freshman, not knowing what the school's about and what they do there. But he basically is the everyman. He doesn't know how to survive once he gets there. He doesn't know how to make friends or, join a gang. And because of that, he ends up in one of the worst situations possible. But you do want him to either survive or succeed or both. And by the end of it, he does get his revenge, but I'm not going to spoil that. So.
Okay, there we go. Oh man, now the artwork does slap hard. Now I know you say you're a fan of Frank and Jeff, but what type of tools did you use to bring your characters into life, right? Because again, if this is all you, this is you too right here, right?
Yeah.
And again, so, I see the Darrow for effing sure.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Obviously. So I've always kind of worked in 2 different mediums. So I do digital paintings and I do line art work, and I'm able to color it as well. It just takes longer. So I ended up going with kind of a mixture of little bits of color here and there, and but mostly black and white with shading. But the inspiration really, it all comes from just researching how to draw people, really, and draw them well. I'm obsessed with, not leaving anything out of the page or the panel. So I want every page to be as packed full with stuff as it possibly can. So, some of the, gallery art at the end will have, digital paintings and stuff. And we have an alternate cover that's going to be a digital painting. So that stuff looks really cool. But I think I really kind of, I'm best at the kind of stuff you're looking at now, which is the heavy line-based, hyper-detailed line work. So, yeah, that's just spent a lot of time trying to max out everything that I draw. And, that's how I've developed my style, really.
And folks, I mean, and look at the style. Yes, indeed. Holy shit. I mean, it looks, there we go, folks. In so many buttons. But I mean, look at it. I love, so you do the lettering too?
Yes. I did everything.
Everything. Look at this. The one-man Army Corps. He is the new OMAC, folks. I mean, look at this guy. It looks great. I love the lettering, the placement, the art. And this page, dude, this is the killer page, son. What?
Yeah. Thanks, what? Man. Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah, I mean, I had to do it all on my own because, I started this and I didn't really know where the comic book industry was at this point and how to even get a publisher. So I was like, I might just have to self-publish it. I couldn't really afford to hire anyone to do coloring or to do lettering or any of that stuff. So I just kind of learned it as I went and kept pushing it and developing it. And then I hired editors at certain points and they gave me good advice. And then I kept going back and fixing those issues and then making it even better and stronger and sending it off to different publishers for, probably a period of like a year and a half. And then I finally heard back from this publisher called Wild North Comics, and they're based in Northern Australia. And they loved it. And they're helping me launch this Kickstarter, and they've done some really cool stuff in the past, and I've met most of those guys now, and yeah, it's going well. So hopefully we keep moving forward.
And this reminds me when I was in high school, this is exactly how separate crews would sit far apart from one another. But what crew was what? You know who was from Brooklyn, from exactly what part of Brooklyn you were from, based on who you were with. Hysterical, I'm digging. But I mean, look at this. Although we didn't have many skateboarders in my area, because we did, you were probably, it was fights. I don't know how you grew up, but it was not fun with me growing up.
Yeah, fair enough.
Pablo, hey, we got some adulty things here. Yeah, man. Girls did not look like that when I went to high school. What is this? This is fire. Look at those colors. Everything, the art is just the fuck. Whoa.
Yeah, so we're releasing an art book as well. That's the cover of the art book. So these are going to be rewards on the Kickstarter. Yeah, so this is an art book just full of all the art that I've done over my career. We're also doing a coloring book with all of my really hyper detailed stuff, as you can see there. Yeah, so you can color it yourself. And people seem to like that one because, you get hours and hours of fun out of it. Yeah, we're also doing skateboards with my art on it. They've been popular in the past. I've done some of those.
Bro, and that black and white John right there is amazeballs. I mean, I haven't skateboarded in a minute. You're inspiring me, and I promise I won't blame you when I bust my ass. But
yeah, thanks. Yeah, that black and white one, that was one of the first really detailed pieces of art I did. I did that years and years ago. But I still remember the reaction as soon as I posted it on Instagram. Like my Instagram just blew up all of a sudden. I was like, "Oh wow, this is crazy." But yeah, so I was just like, "Yeah, I have to put it on a skateboard. I have to,
Are you a skateboarder yourself?
I was. I haven't in a while. I'm getting a bit old for it. I work out more these days. But
I'm about to say, were you the Tony Hawk of Australia back in the day as a kid? What's going on here?
No, not quite. I knew a lot of skateboarders that were a lot better than me, but I could do the basic stuff. I could do a kickflip, that sort of thing.
So let me ask you, because again, here the Underclass is a graphic novel by Kane Gallagher. Was this always the plan for it to be a graphic novel? Did you maybe have a plan for it to maybe go a couple of books and then collect it? I mean, what was the OG idea behind this? Was it this or was it the other thing?
Well, essentially, my first idea was to make a bunch of short stories and then submit it to Heavy Metal magazine.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but then I think it might even be too hardcore for them. But I think at the time when I first started submitting the first couple of stories, it wasn't fully completed and compiled as it is now in a graphic novel form. But I think, Heavy Metal was in a bit of trouble back then, and they were changing, people that were running it, and I don't think they were taking on new projects anyway. But yeah, maybe it doesn't fit that format anyway, because I think it works better this way. And they work more in the cyberpunk kind of sci-fi fantasy realm, although there is a lot of violence and stuff in their books, which I love. This is more gritty crime. And I think it works good the way it is. Yeah.
So how do you balance then those heavy themes like inequality and dystopia while giving us an entertaining edge of your seat story?
Well, I don't know. I guess, you just got to draw inspiration from different things that you consume, and just do it and just start writing and drawing, really. Because that's where I start. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's not an easy question to answer. It's just I always have these ideas in my head, and I just go, okay, what if instead of a traditional story going this way, this character can overcross with this character, and their paths can intersect, and then they can go on their own journeys. I guess I'm always just kind of trying to empathize with every character. I think every character in a story should always be significant in their own way. You know what I mean? Even if they're a small character, there needs to be something unique about them that makes you go, oh, I want to know more about them, And I don't know. I guess I just try to do that in everything, in every story, and keep doing it.
Excellent. So what's the wildest or weirdest or your most favorite thing that you drew in the Underclass so far?
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the cover because it's a wraparound cover. And
this one is a wraparound?
Yeah, I can show you because I've got a
Awesome. Oh, wait a minute. Let me bring you up here. Oh, snap.
This is a pre-launch version, so we've just been selling it at conventions. You can only get it at conventions that when I'm there, and I sign it down here for people and number it. But yeah, if you open it up like this, you can see.
Oh, wow. Dope. Well, look at that.
Yeah. So that one took me a while, and I was pretty happy with that when it was done. Other than that, I think the one that you showed before, the cafeteria scene, that one probably took me the longest because I was still learning how to draw. Yeah, that one. How to really draw a scene that's jam-packed full of people like that.
Well,
and in some ways, yeah, thanks. In some ways, it was easier, I guess, because there's so many people in it that you don't have to put as much detail into every character because some of them are so far away, and
Yeah.
But yeah, that really helped me learn to do crowd scenes, and now I'm starting to do them a lot more, and they're a lot of fun now. Yeah.
I can't wait to see a whole jailhouse battle scene then, a school battle scene. That must be intense. I can't wait. All right, so how has your experience on Kickstarter been so far? And do you have any tips for other creators, that are trying to launch their first campaign based on what you've learned?
Well, this is technically my first campaign, but it's because I've just hooked up with Wild North Comics, and they've done campaigns in the past, so they have more experience than me.
All right, so they're popping your cherry over here in the crowdfunding universe. Hey, love it. All right.
Basically, yeah. But what I've learned just from where I am now is, it's all about marketing on social media, and I guess doing podcasts. This kind of thing helps for sure. You got to get your name out there. And, I love, sitting alone, drawing and creating, and that's good. But if no one knows about it, no one's ever going to read it. So you got to go out there, you got to hustle, you got to tell everybody, you got to meet people in person, you got to go to conventions and just get as many people as you can to sign up for the pre-launch, because that really matters too. You want day one to be a big event, so momentum keeps going.
You're not look at this guy already sounds like a pro, and this is his first one. Understands it. I dig it. I dig it. Now let's talk collaborations. I mean, you did this baby on your own. You said it definitely was a lot. How does the future look, for the Gallagherverse here? Do you think in the future you may want to have a little bit more collaborative efforts, or still continue on the lone wolf lane?
I'm thinking I'll probably do a little bit of both. So right now I'm about 10 pages in of the second book for this series.
Already? Look at it. You said the second book, folks. Shit, he ain't playing.
Yeah. I'm planning on 3, but yeah, we'll see what happens. But also, I've been talking with my editor from Wild North Comics, and we've been brainstorming some collaboration. And he's a really good writer, so we're coming up with some pretty cool ideas. And also, I've done cover work for comics in the past, so I'm always open to doing covers for people. And
you heard this, you indie folks out there? Do I have to show you his art? Let me do this once again. You see that? That's fire. Look at that. That's fire. Did you see this interior page? That's fire. I mean, look at this, guys. You guys need some art. Wepa, look at that. Hey, I'm saying, you can do it all. And look at this. I mean, come on, guys. All right. So if you guys need some a great artist, let's help one another out here. Let's talk about it. All right. Now, where do you see the Underclass heading? You're already telling me you already got a volume 2, possibly a volume 3. But if people clamor for more, can you see this going into an ongoing series? Do you want to make this an animated series? Is this going to be on Netflix anytime soon? What's going on?
I mean, yeah. Well, I just want to create as many books as I can, really. Where we go from there, I would like, if it was a dream scenario, it would be great if they were turned into movies, I think. But I think the second one really would lend itself to that. I mean, a movie trilogy would be pretty cool. Just putting it out there into the universe.
So you manifest, baby. Put it out there.
Exactly.
The words have been spoken, and in the world, and now in some other multiverse, there's not a Snyderverse, there's the Gallagherverse of movies now. Don't you worry.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome.
I dig it. So I wanted to tell our fans here, because listen, folks, I'm going to share the link. As I share this link, it says notify me on launch. What is the plan here? Like, when will this baby finally firmly launch?
We're planning on next month. So it started next month is the plan. Yeah. So we're hoping to get 100 followers before we launch, and that's my main focus right now. I'm spending a lot of time just on marketing on social media and things, and doing these sorts of things, podcasts, so just getting the word out there. And once we get that, we'll be good to go, and we're going to launch, and everyone's going to know. Don't worry, everybody that follows our social medias and stuff, we're going to make a big announcement, and everybody can sign up and grab a copy straight away. Yeah.
You heard it, folks. Get it done. I'm sharing the link there below on the screen. It's also in the show notes. I make life easier, right? So make sure you show some love and support this dope combo that's about to launch, for next month. I mean, look at this, man. What? When time I gotta show you this? I mean, this will show me immediately, though. I'm like, oh shit. Anyone that could do a page like this, all right, it's gonna be a fire book. It ain't no plan. Look at this artistry. And I get some guitars, you know what I mean, for you guys that like that stuff. We got it all in there right there. So, Requiem for the Lost, baby. I ain't going to be lost, because I think I'm going to be pitching into this. Everybody's getting their tax returns, so don't be playing with me. I know you're getting that money. I know y'all getting that money. All right? So no excuses. Now, what's poppin', big homie Kane? Before we go, are you making any appearances anywhere at all? You know, and this year at cons anywhere?
Yeah, I just did my first 2 conventions. So I did one in Melbourne, which is in Australia, called Supernova Convention. And
Supernova, how was it this year?
Oh, really? Yeah,
man. How was it?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. I met some really cool people. I actually met a guy that was personal friends and he's a great artist. He's personal friends with Jeff Darrow, and I was like,
oh man, you a fanboy for sure.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh man, I'm like 1 degree of separation from my hero right now. Like, this is crazy. He's telling me so many cool stories. Yeah. It was really fun. And then after that, we did one here in Perth, in my hometown, and that was really, really good. Like, we almost sold out of everything. Like, people loved it. So
nice.
You can tell there was a big market for what we're doing. But yeah, coming up, I'm doing one in Adelaide next. Is Oz Comic Con coming up in Adelaide. So I'll be there if anybody wants to come by and say hi and grab a book. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You better grab a book and not just say hi. You know what I mean? My man, say hello, grab not just one book, grab all the books. All right? Christmas is around the corner, folks. You know, early Christmas presents, just have it ready. You know, this is what you do over there. Come on now, make it happen. And again, you can follow my man. So listen, you guys go. First of all, the most important thing you do today, all right, after you listen, of course, you're gonna go to Kickstarter, Wild North Comics, the Underclass graphic novel by Kane Gallagher, and you're gonna get notified on what. All right, let's get on that 100 plus. All right. And then he's gonna go live, and as soon as it goes live, you make it rain, because I'm pretty sure you're gonna have some cool stuff and early bird specials, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're still working on those things, but yeah, we're gonna have we're gonna make it cheaper for the early people. Yeah.
You hear this, folks? Hey, make it cheaper. I mean, you know, for those frugal folks out there, that means you just gotta jump in early, make it happen. So make sure you tune in for that. Follow his publisher right there at wildnorthcomics.com. And when specifically you want to look for his book, it's Underclass. But if you want to see everything else they got, just go to wildnorthcomics.com. Check out everything. You can follow my big homie on social media on Instagram at kgdesigns.art. And of course on Facebook, you know, you can check out the publisher again at Wild North Comics. It is what it is. Now, do you have any last words for our fellow Crusaders out there? Any pieces of advice for them, like buy this comic?
Absolutely buy this comic. Sign up for the Kickstarter. But if you want to read the first chapter, you can read it at wildnorthcomics.com / the Underclass. Really? Right there. Yeah, so we've just put the first half of the first chapter. So that'll get people interested, and you can see if you like it, and go from there, man. Yeah, I think people will be interested.
You heard that little teaser, folks? Yeah, I mean, that's proof in the pudding. He believed in the product so much here. We have for my first chapter to get you addicted on it. You know, that's what drug dealers do. That's what I'm saying. His words and all this shit like drugs, you're gonna get hooked. You're gonna have no choice when this baby goes live, all right? So you got it done. Ken, you're a big boss, brother. I appreciate your time. You know, I'm loving the idea behind the book, the look of it, man. So you definitely are a future star. So I know it's gonna get funded in no time, and I really can't wait to see what else you're gonna be bringing into the game. It's gonna be fun.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, and thanks for having me on, man. Yeah, it's been fun. Thanks.
No, you rock it. To my fellow Crusaders, all you guys that were lurking like y'all normally do, let me say hi. Y'all listen. Maybe y'all driving. For those that are driving, I'm sorry. I'm not teasing y'all. Just those that are just sitting there like, come on, hit the keyboard. Don't be shy. Ask questions for amazing creators like my man Kane over here. But with that, I'm Omega. It's Kane Gallagher. It's the Comic Crusaders, baby. Much love. Hasta la próxima. Wepa! Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. If you like the content, subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit ComicCrusaders.com and our extended podcast family over at UndercoverCapes.com. And also make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.